I am an online reseller as well as a self-proclaimed treasure hunter, but my real passion is in finding a great story. So make sure you subscribe because each week I'm bringing you my coolest finds and telling you their amazing stories. So this year has been an incredible year, mainly because I have all of you fine people in my life, but also because we found some pretty incredible stuff. This episode is gonna be all about the top 10 best finds of the year. As my subscribers, it's kind of cool because you guys are the first to see some of my best finds, but you don't always get to see what they sell for. I'm gonna show you guys the coolest things that I found this year, and I'm gonna tell you what they ended up selling for. You guys may remember a video that I did back in November called Junk Drawer Treasures, and this video was all about finding things that look basic that actually have some value to them.
This is a Canon P camera. This particular one has a Leica lens on it.
This camera I got for $35. It's just a basic looking Canon camera. However, it has a detachable Leica lens. So these Leica lenses are pretty expensive, and this particular one ended up selling for $200. It's really important that you always check the lenses on these old cameras because you just never know. Sometimes these lenses can be worth a lot of money. Number 9 on my list is the African Beaded Panels. I did a video back in October where my brother and I were having a full-on battle to see who could find the best things at this flea market.
I'm gonna get the ball rolling. One thing that I thought was super cool that I ran into, which was very weird because you never actually see these things.
I ended up finding just a ton of these beaded African panels, and they're kind of amazing because each one is completely unique. They're all hand done. They're really, really amazing. I paid $50 each for these. This ended up selling on Etsy for $315. Somebody really loved this particular piece, and I don't blame them. It has some of the best detailing I've ever seen on one of these things. Anytime you find something that's handmade like this, it's just kind of cool to check it out because you never know. Number 8 on my list is the mysterious wheel from the salvage yard. Back in October, I did a video of things that I found in this salvage yard slash warehouse.
I didn't know what this thing was. I thought that it was like a wheel, like a steering wheel on a ship or like a boat.
There was old bathtubs and sinks and faucets and just things that you buy in a house and old car parts. It was just this crazy mishmash of all of this amazing stuff. But under this table, I found this wheel that I actually thought was like a wheel to drive a ship. But when I got home, I ended up doing some research on it. It has a maker's mark, and it actually ended up being an antique knob for an old safe vault for a bank. It was this massive wheel made of solid metal. This piece ended up selling for $413, and that's just for the wheel. It's in good shape, but I mean, how can it not be? It's literally blast-proof, solid metal. It's an incredible piece. Number 7 on my list is kind of weird. I had no idea what it was, but it was literally just the skull of a horse wrapped in sticks and basket weaving. I got it for $60, but I'm thinking it has to be something because there's a lot of work that went into this and it just looks super weird. I did some research on it. This is actually an African religious piece, and they would make these during a funeral. So when somebody would die, they would actually sacrifice these animals, and then they would keep the head, they would wrap it in all of this wicker and mud, and they would keep the skull, put it on an altar in the house, and they would use this to communicate with the spirits of their loved ones. They bought this piece on Etsy for $435, and as you can imagine, this is a really, really rare piece. These things aren't just kind of out there. You can't just buy this on Amazon. You can't go to Walmart and pick one of these up. So it was kind of an exciting find for the buyer, somebody that was specifically looking for this piece, and I actually really enjoyed learning about it. It has an amazing history to it, which was really, really cool. Number 6 on my list is also really cool. This was a flea market find that I paid $100 for. This was such a cool piece. This is a Bamileke stool from the Bamileke people in Nigeria. This is incredible because each little symbol on this stool means something. I did a video back in August about the stool. This particular region makes some of the most incredible stools that are made in all of Africa. Each symbol means something very specific. Each stool was made for a specific person of a specific status, and this particular one has a really, really amazing story to it. Somebody ended up buying this stool for $450, and I was happy that I got to keep it for a little while because it's kind of a cool piece. Number 5 on my list is a vintage Royal typewriter. Now these old typewriters can go for a lot of money. I showed one of these in a video back in November that had a really rare font on it. Now this one here went for $495 and it doesn't even have a weird font on it. Now if you find one of these with a weird font, they can go for a lot more money. This particular one is just in immaculate condition. It had the paperwork, it has the case, it looks brand new. The fact that it looks this good after this many years is incredible. So people are willing to pay a lot of money if you can find these vintage pieces in really, really good condition. Number 4 on my list this year, ladies and gentlemen, is this beautiful Navajo rug. I love Navajo rugs. I love Navajo rugs. But if you missed my video in September, I made the devastating mistake of buying a fake Navajo rug. This video was all about helping you guys tell the difference between fake Navajo rugs and real Navajo rugs. It gives you guys things to look for and spot so that you can find these fake ones and not make the same mistakes that I did. So it actually ended up being okay. During this video, I explained that I ended up buying 4 Navajo rugs, one of which ended up being fake. This particular one I ended up selling for $600, so it made up for any kind of mistake that I made. However, it still stinks to like have to make a mistake like that. Can't tell the difference. That might be a good video for you to go back and check out. This particular rug was in amazing condition. Whoever had found this had found it in an old storage unit and it was like wrapped up so that it stayed in perfect condition. This was an older piece and it looked brand new. It was a good size, it had good coloring, good details, so it's not surprising that something like this went for $600. Number 3 on my list is a vintage Ludwig Super 400 snare drum. This snare drum by itself ended up selling for $650. But what's interesting about this, we bought an entire set of drums. We paid $300 for the entire set of drums. What's even more interesting is the rest of this set ended up selling for $900. So sometimes it really pays off when you're finding sets of things to break them up and kind of piece them out. Sometimes it works. Number 2 on my list, you guys, is this amazing wood carving. Back in October, I did a video with my brother where we duked it out at a local flea market trying to find the best things and beat one another.
One of the coolest things that I found that they had from New Zealand is this piece here. It's like this hanging wall.
I ended up finding this amazing wood carving and it was massive. I just knew that it took a ton of work to do this. There was so much detailing on it and it was huge. They were only asking $45 for it and obviously this thing is worth more than $45. Just look at it. Somebody up in Canada ended up paying $1,000 for this amazing carving. And these things are just really, really difficult to find. And especially in this size. They just don't come in this size, like ever. Sometimes it pays off that if you just have some weird hunch about something, if you can get it for the right price, you just take a risk and you just see how it does. And sometimes it does amazing and sometimes it does not. Number 1 on the list for 2019, ladies and gentlemen, this is sort of ridiculous. This piece we paid $25 for. We ended up selling it for $3,500. $3,500. That is a piece of metal with some like glass on it. This is literally just a Rolex case. Like, it does nothing. It's just metal and glass, and it sells for outrageous amounts of money. However, you need to be sure that if you're gonna buy stuff like this, that you are getting them authenticated or you have some kind of idea on telling whether or not they're real or fake, because Rolex watches are obviously one of the most counterfeited watches in the world, so you do need to be careful with something like this. This particular one we found at a flea market. Somebody could buy this watch and put the components inside to make it complete and then resell this watch for $10,000 to $12,000. So $3,500 is actually not a lot considering what this thing could do for somebody that wants to put together a complete watch. So there you have it, you guys. These were our top 10 best finds for the year. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and I hope you guys all have an amazing holiday, a very happy new year. I'm looking forward to 2020. We're gonna find some even more amazing things. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do it now so you don't miss future episodes. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.